Tonight on KGW News, sent to prison as a teenager for a crime he didn't commit. How a Portland man finally got justice after fighting for decades.
I never gave up. I figured it'd be sooner or later. I just didn't know exactly when.
Plus, how Oregon State Police are now teaming up with local officers to tackle downtown.
Be more visible, cover more ground, and conduct more investigation.
And keeping the footwork fancy and fresh, it's Friday Night Football. The victory, the heartbreak, and the young local athletes making their mark. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko, and we begin this Friday night with a man just freed after spending decades in prison. He was there for a crime he did commit, but serving a sentence that came after a wrongful conviction. And his lawyers say his experience shows a damaging ripple effect of what they believe was racial profiling. Catherine Cook talked to him and his attorney tonight. Catherine.
David, Danielle Gill spent more than 25 years in prison and still had 19 to go. He's grateful the Oregon Innocence Project took his case. They presented old and new evidence proving his innocence in one case and reducing his sentence in another.
Walking out felt great.
Danielle Gill has been out of prison for 9 days now. He spent the last 25 years behind bars for attempted assault, drug charges, and running from police.
The first night out, once I laid in the bed, that was like when it really hit. You know, it was a different bed. It was like 4 times softer than a jail bed.
Laughter is one thing Gill says kept him going, knowing he still had 19 years left on his sentence. The other thing? Hope.
I never gave up. I figured it was just a matter of time before I could get somebody to like really look at it and be like, okay, this guy was done wrong. Let's, see if we can help him out or fix it.
That help came from the Oregon Innocence Project. Gill wrote the nonprofit a letter, and they took on his case. Attorney Alex Meggett.
It was apparent from the beginning of his case in 1994 that he was not the person who did it.
The case he's talking about is different from the one that landed Gill a 44-year prison sentence. More on that in a minute. First, let's go back to 1994. Gill was 18 and a senior at what was then Madison High School. On March 25th, police responded to a non-fatal shooting in Northeast Portland. According to Meggett, former Portland Police Chief Charles Moose happened to be in the area and followed the shooter for several blocks in his car. He says Moose lost sight of the shooter, then happened upon Gill half a block away and claimed to recognize him. He calls it racial profiling. A non-unanimous jury convicted Gill, who spent 3 years in prison for attempted murder.
The victim actually showed up at sentencing and said, Mr. Gill's not the one who did it, and named the person who did do it, and the judge just said, I don't believe you at this point.
Gill says after he got out of prison the first time, he was different. Homeless and living in his car, he had several run-ins with police. That included the case in 1998. Another non-unanimous jury conviction landed Gill in prison a second time. But because of his first and wrongful conviction, Meggett says the sentence for his second case was decades longer than it would have been otherwise.
I think it shows how the kind of ripple effect of a wrongful conviction.
Despite that, Gill says he's used the last 25 years to better himself. He's not taking a single minute of his freedom for granted.
There are innocent people, in prison. I do want to help. I know how I felt being convicted of something that I didn't do. You really do feel helpless.
As of last year, people wrongly convicted in Oregon can seek compensation. Through the Oregon Justice for Exonerees Act, those eligible can receive $65,000 for each year of wrongful conviction. Mr. Gill is exploring his options. David.
Yeah, and so powerful that he says he wants to help others as well. Thank you, Catherine. New tonight, a pedestrian in Northeast Portland has suffered life-threatening injuries, police say, after being hit by a car. The man was hit around 6:30 near Northeast 72nd and Lombard. Police add the driver stayed at that scene and is cooperating. No arrests have been made. New tonight, the family of a 16-year-old Gresham teen who died after being shot is now pleading for justice. Alexander Ortiz de Jesus spent 10 days in critical condition before he died earlier this week. Police have arrested and charged a 15-year-old with his murder. Ortiz's sister and mother told us today they heard the gunshots from their home near Northeast Burnside and Division. They are struggling to come to terms with not just his death, but the fact another teenager is the suspect.
The gunshot was really close to him. That's what the doctors told us. It had to be really close to him. So we're thinking, this kid that did this, he doesn't have a heart.
Ortiz's family has now set up a GoFundMe to help cover his funeral expenses. You can find the link in our article on KGW.com. Happening now, I-84 closed in both directions at I-205. Work will be happening all weekend on a new TriMet Max bridge. Those headed west can take a quick detour onto I-205 south and then right back on 84. If you're headed east, well, the detour is a little bit more complicated. You can check out your options at KGW.com. The highway is set to reopen by 5 a.m. on Monday. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, a murder suspect who was recorded on video escaping from a Hillsborough courtroom earlier this year, remember that, has now been convicted of second-degree murder. Prosecutors say Eddie Villalobos stabbed his mother's boyfriend to death in Cornelius in April 2021. Villalobos later stabbed two friends with the same knife. He'd already pleaded guilty to those crimes. Now, back in February, Villalobos ran out of the Washington County Courthouse during jury selection in this case. He was caught hiding in an apartment nearby. Police in Clackamas County are investigating a deadly shooting out of Welch's. A man and woman were killed at the Mount Hood Village RV Resort just off Highway 26. Authorities say they got a call about a domestic disturbance last night. When they got to the scene, they found the man dead outside a trailer and a woman who was shot and injured. She later died at the hospital. A third man was also there. Deputies say he is cooperating with investigators. And authorities have swept 9 kilos of cocaine, thousands of suspected fentanyl pills, and as you can see, about 25 guns off the streets in a large-scale bust. The FBI says the operation involved more than 150 officers from agencies across Oregon, Washington, and California. 5 people from the Portland area were arrested. Oregon State Police say they had a successful first day today on patrol with Portland Police. It's part of a pilot program focused on deterring crime and boosting public safety. Troopers say they helped make arrests, issue controlled substance citations, and treated people with Narcan. Currently, 4 officers make up the Portland Police Bike Squad patrolling downtown, though, following an order from the governor, a handful of state troopers are now joining them on bikes. The focus is on stopping drug deals and getting guns off the streets. As of right now, they say their strategy to split resources across different areas of downtown and try to cover more ground during investigations.
Those state troopers they're going to be walking and riding bikes with a member of Central Bike Squad in uniform in the downtown area to do high visibility enforcement and just be out in the community in uniform, being that visible crime deterrent just really helps our capacity out.
The length of the pilot program remains unclear. The 2 agencies say they plan to test out multiple approaches. The city of Portland tonight is suing one of its fiercest critics over an unpaid tax bill. The lawsuit claims Kevin Looper and his consulting firm owe $46,000 in taxes, fees, and interest. Looper is one of the co-founders of People for Portland. That is the advocacy group created to put pressure on local officials to do more when it comes to things like homelessness and crime. They put up billboards like the one criticizing DA Mike Schmidt, calling Portland a Schmidt show. Looper told us he was not aware of the lawsuit until we reached out to him. He called it politically motivated and said he's going to take care of it, adding he's not trying to dodge taxes and has never gotten any notice about any unpaid fees. You're watching KGW News, and straight ahead on this Friday, cracking down on car thieves. The crime ring police busted with a very specific target. Plus, hard work pays off for one elementary school teacher, how he is being honored for his dedication.
I'm Matt Safino. Yet another beautiful day. There's sunset here on the West Coast. Not a cloud in the sky out there, nor will there be in the valleys over the weekend. Coast will begin to see changes tomorrow. We'll talk about the rain next week, the record highs that were set today.